Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. Danny and I have made it back to our desks and behind the microphones to,
Back again.
yeah.
Shady's back. Tell a friend. Who knew
Tell a
that
friend.
Eminem was setting up our podcast?
Who knew that
For
these
growth.
rappers from the 90s would actually be so popular in 2024? And
Yeah.
not only that, but become like the ambassadors for some very popular brands,
Mhm.
including Snoop Dogg, of all people. Like,
Right?
talk about somebody who has turned into like the grandpa, like the guy for the United States, to like look upon, it seems like.
Mhm.
So, which I didn't know did you know that he has a song called Affirmation? It's like a song that he wrote for his grandkids.
No.
I saw where Michael Bublé, he's on the Voice, and
Mhm.
Snoop Dogg is also a judge this season for the Voice.
Oh,
And
you're kidding.
yeah, and Michael
I might
Bublé was,
watch that.
yeah, right, was really excited to meet Snoop Dogg, and he was telling his daughter, who is in kindergarten, that he was going to be meeting Snoop Dogg and working with him, and she was like, "Oh," she's like, "We sing his song Affirmation every morning in class. Like the teacher has us sing it," and it was really
Awesome.
cool. And so he had video of her like singing the song and dancing, and like Snoop was just super excited by it, and just I guess got to meet the Michael Bublé's daughter, and now Bublé was saying that Snoop Dogg will just like randomly call him but want to talk to his daughter and be
Nice.
like, Uncle Snoop's on the phone for you.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I
So
looked it up. It's only 2 years old, but it's Doggyland. That's his channel, or
yes,
the
yeah.
affirmation song. Sing along with Snoop Dogg's Doggyland. Man, that blows my mind.
Affirmations are positive statements that help us to challenge and overcome when you're not feeling good and have negative thoughts. So repeat after me. Come on, everyone. There is no one better to be than myself.
There is no one better to be than myself.
Today is going to be an amazing day.
Today is going to be an amazing
Right?
But,
Exactly.
it doesn't really like shock me. I mean, it's kind of a surprise that he's got that, but realistically, if you've looked at what he's done in the last even 10 years, it's just been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if it's transformation really, but from the gangster really that he's been for so very long. But he's still a dad. He's still now a grandfather. He's still a human being. And there's so much to
Yeah.
relate with what he's done later in his life. Granted, I'm no gangster, obviously. I can't even say gangster right. I have to put the R on the end. But just seeing what he's done, all the stuff he did with Martha Stewart was
Yeah.
mind blowing,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
also too, I mean, here's a guy that everybody grew up around, like from our age, grew up around and saw do and sing about really just tough topics. I mean, coming out of Compton, like all that
Hmm.
stuff, like just the whole gangster rap and everything. And, if you think about it, there are people that have put in place like, hey, we want people to be able to walk out of the gang life and have a better life and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's basically shown that you can do that,
Hmm.
and also have an immense impact on the public. And so for as much as everybody's like shocked of it, at the same time too, it's like, well, this is what people wanted. This is like, we wanted to give an avenue for people who were in a hard life situation like this to be
Hmm.
able to turn the page and have a better life for themselves. And I don't know anything about Snoop Dogg's like fatherhood journey. I'm sure it was rough.
Yeah.
Um but to see that he's being an active grandfather. I still think one of the funniest stories I heard of him was he wanted to be at his grandkids' birthday parties, but of course he's so well known, like he didn't want the attention to fall on him. So he actually shows up to his grandkids' parties dressed in like different costumes of things. So like if it's a unicorn theme thing, like he'll go get one of those blow up unicorn costumes and like show up and be dancing around and whatnot, just so that he can be there hanging out and not have people bug him so much. And I just was
Hmm.
like, that's ingenious, honestly. Like
Yeah.
what a great way
And
to be like, it's not about me at all in this. Like this is all about this kid and I
yeah.
just want to love him.
Yeah. It's great.
So but
So,
anyway, yeah.
not here to talk about Snoop Dogg. Although Snoop, if you ever hear this, we love you, man. You're doing
Oh
great
man,
work.
I would love to
But
have Snoop Dogg on our show.
you kidding, man? I could not talk to that man. I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be like,
Hey,
all right, I am not cool enough to be on this call. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to move on.
we all
But
put
yeah,
our
yeah,
pants
yeah.
on one leg at a time, sir. So
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Oh, well,
Things I could
speaking
say, but I won't.
speaking of people who are in the spotlight
Famous.
and getting famous. Are we talking about me, by the way? I don't know if we're talking about me.
No, I don't think we're
No.
talking about you. Nobody
No,
knows who
I
you
mean
are. Nobody's
nobody
even heard your
knows.
name. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. If you watch the new Turf Valley episode, you might know who I am. First time. I had someone text me that actually. It was really funny. I
Sweet.
just got a text message to say first time, and I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, they just watched the episode." But yeah,
So the
anyway, we're
episode of what, Brock?
yeah, it's the newest episode of the Turf Valley web series on YouTube, and
Hmm.
we've the National at Home Dad Network has been working alongside, and they basically have been a sponsor for HomeDadCon recently. But yeah, episode 10, The Job, is just came out about a week or two ago now, and actually when this airs, it'll be a couple weeks from now. But great episode that was filmed in Minneapolis last year for HomeDadCon and has quite a few
Milwaukee.
uh cameos. Oh, Milwaukee. What did I said Minnesota? I'm getting
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. I'm way too far
Minneapolis.
back. Milwaukee.
This is
Sorry.
why we have editors
Yeah, yeah.
that
So
we're not actually using, but that's another
right.
story. Yeah. So he
So
was there in Milwaukee.
last year in Milwaukee, we had Turf Valley there, and we had Vince, who is better known on the show as Tyler, and we had the crew from Turf Valley there videoing different segments of the show, and it was really neat to see what hit the cutting room floor and what made it onto the screen. I thought the scene with Arvis and and Vince walking out of the conference room was by far one of the funniest points. My mom goes, "Does he have a head?" Like because the way he leaned back, and I was like, "Yes, he does. He does have a head. Although if he wouldn't have ducked, he would not have a head."
It's coming into view now. Wait for
Yeah,
it.
it's coming. Yeah, or just all the other fun scenes. That scene where we grabbed uh me and JHG and I think who was it? It was
Sergio and
Sergio
Al Watts.
and Al Watts, like when we
Yeah.
grabbed Vince out of his hotel room, so we did that take like 12 times, but it was hysterical every single time.
Hmm.
So everything from the knock to how you said the line to picking him up, like you really get a sense of like, wow, there's a lot that goes into even this tiny little scene. I can only imagine on a larger scale what it would be
Hmm.
like. However, we are amateurs and professionals probably, can get it in a couple of takes.
Yeah, it was pretty
Oh,
cool seeing also seeing when Shannon was getting his book signed, or was signing Vince's book, I should say. And the number of times that Shannon, who I consider to be a fairly professional speaker, I guess he's more a professional writer, but he dropped the lines and they weren't, and he said it. He was, I don't know why I can't get this. And it kind of surprised me. I'm like, I don't know either, man. You're good. I don't want to
yeah.
be in your chair though. I don't want to be sitting over there. I don't know what I would say. If you're messing up, I'll be lucky to hang out in the
Probably
crowd
doesn't.
at best.
I would say it probably doesn't help that there were like just a crowd of people in the back, like watching the entire time and trying not to like snicker too much and just like messing up. It's like trying, it's like being up on stage doing it like a comedy act or whatever, and you're like, oh crap, all my friends are in the audience. This is
Yeah, yeah.
heckled without being heckled, basically.
But he did
Oh
great.
man.
He did great.
Yeah, he did definitely. So yeah, so that show's out, and today we are going to actually have two of the folks from Turf Valley on with us today to just talk more about the show and also about their involvement with the National at Home Dad Network, and it's just going to be an exciting time. So we will have Adam Rogers and Vincent Eisenson. I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. I'm throwing it out there. We'll see. But yeah, we'll have them on here in just a moment.
Join us for the Dad's Run 5K in St. Louis 2024, benefiting the Fathers Overcoming Adversity Fund. Brand new to this year is the 1 mile Arch March. For our walkers or runners that want a short option, we got you. Participate in personal or virtually. The live event includes a 5K finisher medal, post-race food, and refreshments. Virtual participants complete their 5K the week of October 18th through the 20th, 2024, with a registration fee covering medal shipping. If you are unsure of how to train for 3.1 miles or think it too daunting, the plan Couch to 5K will get you there in 9 weeks. There's still time to start the journey. Link to this program can be found in any of the posts about the 5K on our social media platforms. Again, the date for the convention is October 17th through the 19th, 2024 in St. Louis, Missouri. In person to register for the 5K is $35. Virtual registration is $40. Sponsored by PlanToRun.com. To learn more, go to athomedad.org/Dads Run This House 5K.
All right, and we are back, and we have our guests with us, Adam Rogers and Vince Eisenson from Turf Valley. How are you two doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome.
Extremely well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
great to see you guys as always.
For sure,
know,
definitely. It was great to see you guys last year in Milwaukee, and just getting to hang out with you guys, and very excited to have you on the show and talk more about this amazing web series on YouTube that I feel like it's really starting to take off even more. I mean, like first season, definitely you guys were getting traction. It seems like the second season here, looking at views and things like that, you guys are really starting to hit your stride on it, and that's exciting to see.
Well, thank you, Brock and Danny, and I think it's partnerships like the one we have with yours that I think have started to make that happen, and we've definitely noticed, with episode 10, which was the episode we shot at the convention in Milwaukee. I think it just hit 10,000 views in 6 or 7 days, which
nice.
for our little engine that could is really a record. So thank you to all of you who've sort of put it in front of people and shared it, and that's how we're like Tom sends his regards too. He has to teach this morning, but
he's not sleeping in the back of the work van.
Oh, damn, Tom, I tried, but we think of ourselves as like a little craft beer, and I think we just keep making it and getting people to try it, and hopefully it'll just start to catch on even more. And so thank you for doing all the sharing.
Well, just getting a season 2. I mean, if you look at the number of things that, either mostly self-produced or fully produced by someone else, the fact you get a season 2 seems to be like, oh, okay, we crested. We've reached the top of that peak, and now we're going to go on to our next one. But so many things don't get that season 2. And for me, that was probably the most exciting thing that happened for the show. Of course, loved you guys being at our convention. Loved everything y'all did. The whole show was hilarious, and seeing, especially for us, we're geeking out about our friends. We're there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so. Yeah, look at it. But realistically, just what it shows about what the convention is, it was really, really just wonderful for me. And I think all of our membership too is looking at it and going, oh yeah, that's what we do every year, just for at-home dads or just for fatherhood in general. And we really appreciate y'all coming out, of course, and then getting that episode aired. And we've been waiting and waiting, like, come on. I know it takes a long time, but we were so excited. I was sitting there waiting for I mean, like, come on, you two. You're gonna come on, come on, come on. It's time. You're a minute late. So, but it was amazing. And we really appreciate everything that y'all have done, especially kind of to help us boost our signal, which is, we're
Yeah.
not as we're not looking for that as much as maybe other organizations are, because we're kind of a niche. We're kind of, this is where we're at. But to have that almost fame really has been wonderful. And we appreciate all the work that y'all must have done to put in that episode in. So,
Well, I'd love to hear. I mean, Vince and I, we, it was almost a year ago, but I mean, I think my goal, and I'm really curious to hear what Vince has to say too, is, we didn't really know what to expect. I mean, we were just, we read all the brochures and we sort of knew you guys a little bit from earlier, Zoom meetings and these kinds of things. But Tom and I, our goal was just to try to do justice to the vibe of the brotherhood of it all, and the feeling we got. And so we weren't really sure what would happen when we got there, but everybody was so warm and funny and welcoming. So we shot. I mean, you guys probably remember we just shot a lot of footage.
Yeah,
And
definitely
trusted that we would figure it out. But
well, Vince, you came into this kind of, you're the actor. You came into this whole thing sort of in a way that really just kind of blank slate, just coming into the whole conference and stuff. If I believe correctly, like you're not actually a dad, right? Is that right?
Oh, no, I am a dad. I am a dad.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I've
I don't know
got
why I
two
missed that.
kids who I just dropped them off at school right before this.
Oh, shoot. Well,
Sweet.
my bad. I
How old?
apologize.
It's all
How old
good.
are they?
It's all good.
How old are they, Vince?
7 and 5.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Good
Yep.
ages.
Yeah, I
And
guess
of
I
course,
just didn't...
one of them forgot their water bottle. So I'm debating whether to go back there after this or let him learn the hard way.
That's what water fountains are
Excellent.
for.
That's what water
it's
fountains
like
are for.
the do
Yes.
you want to be
And-
the lighthouse parent or the helicopter parent? Right?
Exactly.
There you go. There you
Yes.
go. You'll learn your lesson. Well, regardless of that, like, so yeah, you come to HomeDadCon last year, and it's sort of one of these deals where you're experiencing two different sides to it, with coming in and putting together these scenes, and then also too, like, just being a part of the crowd and the group and everything else. What was your experience like for HomeDadCon? Like, did you actually get things out of it like a typical attendee would get, as well as just being there doing your job, like, I guess, like, with that?
Yeah, I really did. I didn't quite know what to expect, as Adam said, and a lot of my excitement was honestly just when I first read the script, I thought of the Office episode where they go to the convention, where Michael goes to the, and it's like,
Yes.
that's such like a mind-blowing departure from the Office. I'm like, that's huge. So if we can get the turf guys to leave the Office, which is the curb, and go somewhere cool, I was like, that's just going to be so exciting. And then kind of like what you said, I'm not saying I'm method here, but I just kind of went into it as Tyler was going into it, and I was getting a lot out of the conferences. I was just really enjoying it. And outside the scripted bits, we didn't really know what we were going to film. So Adam and Adam picked up some stuff I didn't even know he was filming. I think he caught me just like listening to some of the presentations and getting into it. No, but I loved it. And like I told, there was a gentleman I had breakfast with who I think is like a freelance HVAC guy, but we were talking about how we have very similar setups. Like, we're at home with the kids a lot of the time, and then we're out in the field doing our gigs when they come. And I was like, that's the same with me, brother. I mean, I'm going to Pittsburgh in a week and a half, and I'll be gone for 3 weeks on a shoot. But when I'm not doing that, a lot of times I am home. I was home with them yesterday because they were both sick. And
Yeah.
that was fun for a while until I had to get some work done, and I couldn't. But
Yeah.
so I felt right at home at that convention, and I think Tyler did too.
Yeah,
he
definitely.
had his eyes opened just like I did. So it was a very cool experience.
I loved the interactions that took place. I mean, everything from like at the bar, which that seemed like that was sort of just like, hey, like let's just shoot this and see what happens. Kind of. I don't know if that was scripted or not, but it fit so well. Like when you saw it in the show, like just me doing a selfie with everybody is exactly what happens there.
Mhm.
Just guys doing that all the time when they're out and about, or somebody like I love the fact that like we're like, yeah, we wanted you to come up and do this like little speech or whatever. There are times where there are guys who are like, I just want to get up in front of the microphone and I just want to say something to everybody. And we're like, well, okay, fine, go do your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And in my mind, we didn't actually establish why Tyler was suddenly speaking, but in my mind, it was after he met Shannon, who was a big
Yes.
fan. Maybe like a little later, Shannon's like, "Hey, man, you should get up there and talk." And then Tyler's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, I guess I should. I am a
Yeah,
dad."
that's exactly right, Vince. And we actually
Okay.
had that in a draft that you never saw. We had that.
Mm.
We wrote that exact scene. And then we thought we were always very, we had such limited time, and we were like, okay, we decided to cut that because we thought it would be fun for the audience to be surprised that Tyler
Yeah.
would be up there.
Mhm.
And you can connect the
talking.
dots without
Right.
showing us. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
Pretty easily.
And Brock, I wanted to comment on that scene at I can't remember the name of where we all got the old fashions.
Oh,
Wisconsin.
the
Drink
Wisconsin or
Wisconsin.
drink
Let me
Wisconsin.
tell you, that was uh the in some ways for me the most pivotal moment of the weekend, because Tom and I had these scripted scenes that we knew we had to get, but other than that, we were just our plan. We hired a local cameraman from Milwaukee to help us out, and I was shooting on my iPhone and such. But and I think that was the first night. I think we arrived
Yeah.
late in the afternoon, and then it was like we're all going to get old fashions. We were
Old
like, okay,
fashions,
and
Yep.
we threw, Vince threw his shirt on. But that, when you're in that kind of a situation creatively, you're looking. What we were trying to do was create a little bit of a progression for Tyler, a little bit of an arc.
Mhm.
And we sort of knew there was the Shannon piece and the speech, and we knew we kind of had this idea for this, where you kind of abscond with Tyler. We'll talk about that in a moment too. But that scene with the old fashions was so unexpected and so visual and so it was so dynamic. All the guys were there, and the mixing of the drinks and it was sort of like, oh my gosh, this is and so that the realization, Tom and I, we looked at each other and we were like, okay, this is in this little arc for Tyler, this is the moment where he kind of turns, and it really is sort of right in the middle of all the Tyler scenes at the convention. That's sort of right in the middle where things start to change, and we don't, and there's no real dialogue. It was just sort of a vibe again. So we felt lucky that that happened, and we sort of caught that.
Yeah, and I love that it is a progression that we see with first-time attendees. Honestly, I mean, I'm just going to tell everybody: we do not come to your room and drag you physically out to the convention. It does not happen, right, no matter what you see. But the reality of it is people do get there and they don't know. These dads have never experienced anything like this. You definitely don't have that bond that you have at the convention anywhere else. I mean, we wait all year long to go back to that environment, right? But seeing the dads that get there for the first time, and like Brock mentioned, we have dads that we're at the end of it. It's Saturday, we're winding down, we've done all the official stuff, keynotes are done, and we'll have people raise their hands and say, I want to say something. And they do, and they take the mic and they just pour out all of that stuff. I will say, Vince, yours was way funnier than most of the stuff that we get, but it's that same transition from I'm flying solo. I mean, I've got a couple of friends or whatever, but I'm doing this all on my own. Especially when you look like days like you said yesterday, when you're home all day with your kids, and it's the only thing you can do all day is wipe, snotty noses, and you don't get anything else done, right? And you get out into that almost oasis where all the other dads get what you're doing, and they're there to support you and get support from you, and it just kind of pushes them the same way. I think that arc explained it almost perfectly. Pushes them into that place where this is where I belong. And at the end, I would say, owning the fact I'm a dad. We're dads. That's what we do.
Right.
That's who we are. And I loved it. I didn't cry. I will say I was close though. It was just, I'm like, yeah, man, that is it. So I think it was a well done. The entire arc was amazing.
It's
Yeah,
awesome to hear. Awesome to hear.
I was gonna say I love too at the end where you brought T-shirts for the guys and gave them to them, and they were all like really excited about it. I'm like, I kind of want to see like in the next episode, like, all right, like, do they talk about that or not? And who knows? But I'll be interested to see in episode 11. But just the whole just transition of that episode was just so much fun. That scene where we were dragging you out of the hotel
Oh
room,
yeah, we got to talk about that. That was
oh my
great.
gosh, like 12, 13 takes. It was hilarious. Like
That's the
different
thing.
ways to hold you up.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that scene. I told Adam though, I mean, obviously the editing took a while, but I don't think people can appreciate how well edited this episode is. You guys probably can because you were
Oh
there.
yeah.
But it
Mm-hmm.
just looks like it was by design. Like, okay, we'll get bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. It'll all come together nicely. We'll tell the story. Bang. No, no, no. I mean, there was a lot of footage, and I don't think we knew how the beats would cut together. Maybe Adam did while he was shooting it, but it just every little beat is in there. Even like me talking to you near the elevators. I think that's me and you, Brock. And
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't even remember that beat. I don't
Yeah.
even think I knew they were filming, but it's just like, oh, that's the perfect beat. And it just cuts together seamlessly. But
Well,
like you said,
did
we
you have to
shot a
run
lot
that
more
scene
than we
over?
showed.
Did you have to run that scene over and over again where Arvis and you walk out of the conference room and he had to do the limbo underneath the frame, or was that a one and done take?
Was it one or two at
It was two.
maximum?
I remember I saw him do it, and Vince and I saw him do it, and we were like, we gotta, like, okay, I've never seen anything like
He's
that.
such a
I don't
character.
know enough tall people, I guess, but we. So I think we saw it, and then we were like, okay, Vince is like, I'll go back in there with him, and we'll do it again, and it was a
My
great.
my mom was
visual.
so funny. She saw that. She was like, "Does he have no head?" I'm like, "No, he's 7'4". I was like, "He would have no head if he just kept walking through that." But I
Yeah.
was like, he has to do limbo when he goes underneath
Yeah.
doorways.
It's coming. Wait for it. Wait for There it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, I want to
Jarvis is
give
awesome.
a little shout out to our editors, Steve Bell. I've known him since film school at NYU, and he works for a company called Cutters, which is based in Chicago, but they have offices all over the world. And Steve just his bread and butter is you know, beautiful national global commercials, and he just really he knows how to sort of find just the right moments out of good material, and he always makes it look seamless. But to your point, Vince, yeah, it was just Steve just really delivered. I think there's so many great little
Oh yeah.
moments.
Mhm.
Yeah, this
Some of them last them just a second or so, but
Right.
Yeah, episode 10 was just such a joy to watch, and definitely like the editing, like you said, for those of us who were a part of it, like it was wild to just see it how it got stacked up and put together, and like one point you're
Seamless.
like, yeah, it worked
Well
so
done.
well, and it was just it flowed so nicely. I just couldn't get a taken aback. I was just taken aback by it, honestly. And you know, I feel like everybody was really excited to like share it out and get it out there. There were lots of guys that were putting it out in different ways. I saw where I think it was yesterday, City Dads group actually had an article that they wrote up, and that got put out yesterday. So that's really cool to see as well. But
oh, that's great.
yeah, so just all these different, different people are getting involved in it. I had sent it out to like all my friends and family, and it was really funny to just like see their reactions and stuff. I was telling Danny before you guys came on that actually one of my friends was watching it, and I just got a text message that said first time, and I was like, what? and then I was like, oh yeah, he just watched the show. I was dying. It was hilarious.
That'll become the official Brock meme, I
The
think.
Brock line. Yeah.
First
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm just gonna get
First
that on a
time.
t-shirt. all
Just
the
walk
new
around so you figures it out. Yeah.
all
So
the
you
new- all
mentioned the
new
12 or
attendees.
13 takes, Brock. What was it like on your end? What was the
Oh, man.
experience like?
It was fun. I felt like the one of the first takes that we did where we brought you out when we were pulling you out, like, because I feel like that scene was cut a little short than normal, but like when we were pulling you out of that room with such force. There was one time where it's like we had to like literally stop you from being like flung over the balcony.
Yeah.
It was like, holy cow, maybe not quite that hard. We need to pull you on. But that, along with just the different ways to knock, was the other one that
that's
was
right.
really fun.
Oh yeah.
and then trying to figure out where to hook you at, to like basically carry you down the hallway with, three other guys and making that happen. It was comical. I think the best part about that, do you remember the housekeeping lady that was at the other end of the hallway watching us on one of the takes?
Yes.
She looked at us with quite horror in her face as like, what is going on?
And he
Please
keeps
don't throw
letting
that man
himself
over.
have this happen to him.
Again and again and again.
Like, this poor guy. I need to call hotel security right now? There's cameras and everything.
I have to say, and this may seem odd, but my favorite scene, honestly, was when Tyler is in the plane on the way and he's reading Dr. Seuss, Let's Go to Space.
Yes.
I love Tyler as a character. I really do. I'm like, I just click with him in so many ways. And he's reading that. And it was just, I don't know who thought of that, but that was just chef's kiss. That was perfect. It was exactly what I needed to see.
Well, that was
And
all
for
Vince.
those-
Vince,
Yeah.
I'll
Good
tell
job,
you,
Vince.
one of the most fun things for a director is when the actor, Vince always comes prepared, but Vince always brings like extra, and like, so Vince, I mean, we flew to Milwaukee, obviously, and we were just filming on the Southwest flight, but Vince, one of the sub themes of the episodes of the seasons is sort of his wife, works, she's an astronaut, and
Yeah.
dealing with all that, and so proud of her, but also feeling a little, like, does he measure up, so to speak? But
Mhm.
but so Vince brought several books. I think he brought The Martian,
Yep.
and he brought
Nice.
The Right Stuff, and he brought 3 or 4 books. And in the first cut of this, we saw Vince reading every single book, but it was just like taking too long. So I think I called Vince. I'm like, Vince, I think I want to go with Seuss, but I don't want to make it seem like
Adam was so worried. I mean, like, I've had directors cut me out of their show and they didn't even text me. And Adam over here is like worried, like I might feel a little bad if Tyler looks slightly less than collegiately intelligent. But no, yeah, the bit I had was he keeps giving up on the books and finally settles on Dr. Seuss because it's just the easiest thing to read on the plane.
Yeah.
Adam they winnowed it down. And as you said, Danny, it worked for you. And that's
Yeah.
what's important. You got to winnow
right,
these
that's what's
things down.
But
It was great.
I think
Any
though,
of them
too,
would have been hilarious, but
I'd say it also shows too, though, in a way, like if you kind of look at it from a 2020 perspective, is the fact that here's a dad who's like, hey, I'm going to this conference that I just found on the internet, kind of deal, and I want to see what it's like, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to experience. How do I ready myself? Like maybe I'll just, take some time to actually like read this children's book just in case, some other dad's like, hey, are you reading your kid I don't know. Like, but that's just kind of how it made me
Great.
feel, was like
Good.
you were trying to prepare yourself a little bit for it. And then on the other side too, is like, you know what? There are just sometimes where us parents, we just want to sit down and actually just read a book that maybe our kids enjoy and figure out
yeah.
the full extent to why they enjoy it, other than just, I'm just trying to mundanely read to you in the hopes that you fall asleep soon so I get a few minutes to myself.
Do you see on how many levels this dumb little sight gag works? Like we
Yes.
didn't even consider
Yeah.
all these, but if you
It's the
put it in
best.
there, it's
Yeah.
full run
The
with it.
absolute best. And I mean, that is Tyler's character. I mean, that's why he went to Milwaukee, because he is in some ways the most open-minded of the
Mhm.
trio there. He's very curious, and so it was just it was a perfect fit. And look, Seuss, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'll still once in a while dip into a Seuss, just for they're
Yeah.
so beautifully written, and
And they've
universal.
got good lessons, both for
Yeah, exactly.
adults and for kids. I mean, the ones with the stars on their stomach, I don't remember what that one was.
The
What that one was
Sneetches,
called.
yeah,
The
that's good.
Sneetches, yes. And that was great. And I read it and I'm like, oh man, I know adults that need to read this, that need to
Yeah.
understand what's going on with this. And my kids picked it up. They were just enjoying the Sneetches. They had no idea that there was any moral lesson beyond that. But yeah, Dr. Seuss had amazing stories to tell for sure.
Hey, Brock and Danny, I was curious to get your reaction about something. Do I have time to ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
So
We don't like to talk though, so
so
we don't have time for that. Go ahead.
the episode itself, obviously there's all the great stuff we did in Milwaukee, but conceptually we also wanted to obviously counterpoint that with a dad, with Jason's character, he's sort of feeling pressure to get whatever
Mhm.
a real job, a job where
Right.
he's doing things and going out and, delivering literally
The goods.
metaphorically and literally. But how did that, I was just curious, did that work for you? And how did that work as a counterpoint? And was that relatable too?
Very
Uh,
relatable. Yes. I mean, I basically have transitioned into working full time at a local brewery and, just having the flexibility to be able to do that job and also take care of the kids and family and stuff. And just that whole idea of like, oh, like the kids are at school all day. And a couple of years ago, my wife was like, if you can find something that you would enjoy doing, that isn't like I got to do this, but it's like, hey, I got some time to do this and I can contribute to, my family, that kind of deal. She's like, go for it. But it's not like we're hurting and need it, but it's just something to help kind of you, mental health wise, just to, be involved in that way. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed and really appreciated that, just that whole character's story, because there are lots of dads in this organization who are like that. They have part-time jobs and things like that in different ways. My wife and I, when we were watching it, actually at one point she was like, if you were a delivery guy and you did that, she's like, yeah, you would not be standing on the front porch for very long.
well, yeah, that we love that pairing too, that character, Sheila and Jason. Sort of, I love that. I mean, it's just good comedy, but also that she's very supportive of him and his,
Yeah.
she says, "Oh, you're working your job," and it's
Yeah,
like,
right, right.
Yep. Well, that's
And
yeah. I think that too. A lot of times, I hear different spouses talk about how like they love seeing their significant other like working. Like sometimes that is like considered like just sexy to them and different things.
right.
Like when I'm doing
uniform.
the uniform, yeah, whatever it is, that kind of deal. I know that my wife, like when I'll go, like when I used to go to a conference that other than just HomeDadCon, but even HomeDadCon itself, like, I kind of go into it almost in a business type esque thing. Like there are different aspects to that where it's like, all right, like I want to present myself in a certain kind of way. My wife's just like, I love it when you like get all like businessy and everything. So,
Yeah.
I put on that uniform.
And
Well,
I
that's
think
another
it
thing. Those blue shirts, it was a great surprise. That was another thing Tom and I latched onto right away. We had no, I mean, we sort of knew that design was out there, but it was like, oh my God, then to see all the blue was really just thrilling, in a way.
Mhm. Yep. And I will say, speaking, yeah, there you go. There you go, Vince. So, but speaking of that too, about getting into the workforce again, working outside the home, and it comes into play too with what Tyler's experience is with his partner, where you are a lot of the dads that we have. Okay, so you're no longer making any money. And a lot of us put our value as a human being, as a man, in how much money we're bringing in. I mean, it's just what we've been taught for generations to do, right? And like I look at my wife, and fortunately, I have a pretty big ego and I'm pretty self confident, so I can handle it. But my wife is 5 times, 10 times smarter than me. There's no way I could succeed in business like she is. She's just fantastic. And you look at that and say, okay, well, you're up here and I'm just down here, just wiping butts, and you get that moment of, and I think Tyler expresses it even, subconsciously, just, it doesn't even say it, but that I don't know that I'm good enough to hang out to be a partner with you. Right.
Mhm.
And so when you get that opportunity to go, oh, wait, well, I can go make money. I can go make money. And you really see a lot of the dads who, even if they own being a dad and they're 100% invested in it, they still look at that and go, well, what if I could bring in $100 a week? I mean, man, $100 would help with, I will say this, and I don't mean this to gloat or anything, but because of the work that my wife and I have done over the last 15 years, I don't have to work, right? We're in that place. I mean, she's skyrocketed because that's, she's really put her nose to the grindstone, so to speak. But for me, like if I craft something or I do something or whatever, and I can, hey, look, I made $50 taking a survey. And $50, especially these days, is not really that impressive for a 55-year-old man. I mean, you're kind of in that's when your career should be soaring at that point. You should be focusing on retirement. You're making the most money of your life. But for me, I'm like, $50. And I still feel some worth. Look at that.
Yeah.
I got some money, so that thought of going back into the workforce, even if it's part-time, I think was really well done. I think it was hilariously done too, because because Jason is just terribly funny. The character is just, I don't want to be mean about it, but he's just kind of a big goober. He just kind of
Yes.
stumbles through stuff, but he has his wife's support, which I will say has kept me sane, because my wife is very supportive, of the work that I do, and she knows that she couldn't be where she's at if I didn't do what I did, right?
Mhm.
And has that same, let's say, physical response a lot of times, and which I love too, but it tells the story really of those things that we're doing as dads and as at-home dads, where we have to focus, where we say, I'm providing for my family, which is what I think is just built into your brain for generations. You have to provide for your family. I am. I'm providing the support. I'm providing the foundation. I'm providing the cognitive labor of getting our kids to soccer practice and then to school. And did they forget their water bottle and all those other things? And
Mhm.
I'm doing all of that stuff, right? And
Yeah.
that's how I'm providing. But also that, I don't want to say manly need, but that feeling of, well, I also need to bring in money. What can I do?
Right.
And we have, guys that do Uber a lot. We have guys that do deliveries. We do a lot of things, DoorDash and all that, where it's anything you can do around your kid's schedule,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Mhm.
And I thought it was both very, very well intertwined.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to point out a couple other things too. So Turf Valley is involved with HomeDadCon. Uh, you guys have been a sponsor for the convention, and I just wanted to basically, from everybody else who comes to the convention, who's seen your guys' show, like I just wanted to say thank you for stepping in to just be a part of what this organization is doing for stay-at-home dads. um it's honestly like, I when I started with volunteering, I would have never had considered that this would be something that the organization would be able to partner up with, and I think it's just amazing. Just being able to kind of, I don't want to say like work alongside, but there's definitely, it feels like there's a little bit of that goes on just with how, like, we kind of feed off of each other. And so I just wanted to just thank you guys for, I guess taking a chance really on us is the biggest thing. And
Absolutely.
that's it's I don't know. It's to me sometimes I'm just like, we're doing what? Like, we're working with who? Like, this is so cool. And so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, because I know there's lots of guys who definitely feel the same way, and so I just wanted to convey that to you guys.
Well, that means the world to us. I mean, we sort of feel the same way about you. With hey, this group, that is really the real version of what we kind of stumbled into and concocted, is trusting us to come share this experience. So the thanks go both ways. And I also again should shout out to Sue Hamilton, who
Mm-hmm.
you all know, and has
Yes.
worked with all of you and helped to sort of connect us. And
Yeah,
we just feel really grateful that she did that. And but no, it's a great partnership, and we hope it continues.
Absolutely.
definitely.
I mean, I didn't before we started the show. I only pictured guys at the bus stop being the extent of the community. So to know there's like a national network is awesome. Something I didn't even know about until I started working on the show. So it's like, hey, we have an audience. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We love
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
we are waiting, just waiting for somebody to tell our story. And you guys are doing it so well. Seriously.
That's awesome. Thank you.
By
Definitely,
the way,
definitely.
it's thrilling to hear that everybody sort of getting out there. If people have a moment, if you've seen the show, or you're going to check out the show, throw down a comment. We love these comment sections on YouTube, because we often, like, we'll get ideas for new episodes, or we'll get feedback. Oh, like kind of like we're doing now. Like we think this might work, but we're not sure. So if you have a minute, throw down a comment on one of those, the episode that you watch, and that'll be really helpful to us as we move forward too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, well, like I said, we'll have links in the show notes too for how people can watch the show and continue following you guys. Uh, Vince, one of the things I also wanted to point out before we go is that, you're not just in this show, Turf Valley. Like you actually, you're out there in the cinematic world, doing lots of different shows and different things. I thought it was really cool. One of my favorite shows on TV is What Would You Do? And I saw where you recently got to be a part of that show, which uh, it's always interesting to watch it and see how the public reacts to these scenarios that they're basically set up on. It's almost like the hidden camera show, like Candid Camera from back in the day, but it's
Right.
got a much more serious aspect to
Yes.
it. But I mean, you're in these different shows. Like I pulled up your IMDb because I was just like, man, he's done a lot of stuff. But um, that's the one thing that's also really cool is just like being able to see like, oh, like, these guys, like they've got this background. They're doing all of these different pieces of work. Like you were talking about, like you're going to go to Pittsburgh and you're going to do this other thing. Like, you're a dad and then you're juggling family life and also to your career. And that's a lot of dads, like we were talking about, are doing those kind of things. And I think that showing society that it is possible to basically be in both of those like worlds, and it's okay, like there's
Right.
equal playing ground for that. I feel like sometimes people need to take the blinders off and realize like that's not as big of a deal as you need to make it out to be. Like it's if if both people who are adults are in this situation and it's agreed upon this is what's going on, like they will figure out how to make this work.
They'll
And
figure it out. Yeah.
exactly.
And
So,
like Danny said, they'll go hunting when you need to get the woolly mammoth or the deer or whatever you need to do to provide. You can go out
Right.
and do that. You don't have to do it from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. There are
yeah,
other ways to do
if
it.
your spouse is going to space, like you can stay home and hang out
Yeah.
with the kids for a while. It's all good.
Right.
Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us. Honestly, I think a lot of guys are trying to question whether or not you're gonna just like randomly show up at a HomeDadCon. I know there's been some conversation around that on the Dad Lounge. You guys are like, are they gonna be a staple item? I doubt it. I mean, we'll welcome
Where's
them.
the next
we'll welcome
one?
them in.
We don't
St.
even know where
Louis.
the next one is.
St. Louis next month.
Yep.
Next month.
Like,
Okay.
so you'll be in
October-
Pittsburgh. We'll be in St. Louis.
Oh,
October
dang it.
19th or 17th through the 19th, we'll be in St. Louis. So right
And
right
then
beside the arch.
September 11th through 13th of next year, we'll be in San Antonio.
Yeah, right on the river
Okay.
walk.
And then the year after that is our 30th.
Wow.
And I'm
one's not
thinking
been-
New Orleans. We don't know where we're going, but I'm leaning towards New Orleans. Just
Well, I
saying.
got
Nice.
my older son is applying to college this year. We're totally embroiled in college
Yeah.
visits and all that.
Yeah.
But Tom and I would love to come to another one of these, at least
Heck yeah.
another one of these. So we're not sure which, but hopefully San Antonio. That'd be really fun. So
Be great. Bring the other two guys with you and just
Right.
be
yeah.
like they'd be like, oh man, we need to check this out too.
And y'all are always welcome to anything
yeah.
we have going on, of course, whether it's a local thing or a national thing. We really, again, just are so grateful for the work that y'all are doing and putting forth what fatherhood is in so many different ways. So, of course, and if you end up needing a room, you'd have to share with somebody. But if you need a room or something like that, we're more than happy to do what we can to help you because you've definitely helped fatherhood in so many ways, and we're grateful, really.
That's awesome. Thank you.
that's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you. You guys are the best. So big shout out to everybody who helped us on that Milwaukee episode. Just thank you all. It was a group effort.
Definitely.
Indeed.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show again. And we will hopefully see you at an upcoming HomeDadCon. But until then, we'll talk to everybody else next week. So y'all have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.